All right, let's just get right into it. We're going to talk about a topic that, doesn't get a lot of airtime, but it's so important for men's health and, frankly, their confidence. And that's penile aging. It's a real thing, but here's the good news. It is absolutely not something you just have to sit back and accept.
So, the big question is, can you really fight against time on this? Can you slow it down? Maybe even turn back the clock a bit? Well, the science is actually pretty clear on this. While, yeah, aging is going to happen, how you age, that's a choice. And we're about to break down exactly how you can take the wheel.
And here's our game plan. First, we need to understand what's really going on inside, on a biological level. Then, we'll dive into the 3 core pillars for keeping everything healthy. And finally, we'll wrap it all up into a straightforward action plan you can use for life.
So, what do we even mean when we say penile aging? I mean, it's not like it just gets wrinkles or goes gray, right? Well, in a way, it's similar. The penis goes through very specific structural changes over the years. So let's pop the hood and see what's going on.
Okay, so pretty much everything we're going to talk about boils down to these 2 little structures, the corpora cavernosa. The easiest way to think of them is like 2 sponges. For a good, strong erection, these sponges need to be healthy, super elastic, and ready to soak up and hold on to a lot of blood. Their condition, well, it's everything.
The very first thing that starts to happen over time is a loss of elasticity. Those flexible, muscular fibers that make up the sponges, they start to thin out and reduce. It's actually a lot like how our skin loses its bounce over the years. It just makes the whole structure a little less responsive.
And that leads right into the next phase, something called fibrosis. This is where that healthy, stretchy muscle tissue is slowly, gradually replaced by a more rigid, fibrous tissue called collagen. It makes the sponges stiff, almost tough, and way less able to expand and fill with blood. And you can guess what that does to the quality of an erection.
And then, on top of the structural stuff, there's a chemical factor. As we get older, our bodies just don't produce as much nitric oxide. This stuff is a huge deal. It's what tells your blood vessels to relax and open up to let blood rush in. So less nitric oxide means a weaker signal to get things started and keep them going. So you see, it's both structural and chemical. But the key here is that it's a process we can absolutely influence.
All right, that brings us to our first pillar. And honestly, this is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. This is where you have the most control, every single day. I want you to really let this sink in, because it's so simple and so powerful. An erection is all about blood flow. It's a vascular event. That means your heart health is your penile health. You cannot separate the two. The very same network of pipes that supplies your heart is the one that supplies your penis.
So, how do you keep that entire vascular system in top shape? Well, it really does start with what's on your plate. A great little rule to remember is peel more, unpack less. You want to focus on whole, real foods, things that are packed with antioxidants, things that fight inflammation. Think about a Mediterranean style of eating, lots of fruits, veggies, fish, healthy oils. This stuff is what keeps your blood vessels clear and flexible.
And of course, that also means keeping an eye on the big risk factors. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. These things wreak havoc on your blood vessels over time. And choices like smoking or drinking too much, they're basically poison for your vascular system. Managing this stuff isn't just about living longer. It's about living better right now.
Okay, on to pillar number 2. So we've laid the foundation with your overall health. Now it's time to get a little more specific. This is all about direct, targeted action.
The principle here could not be simpler. Use it or lose it. Seriously, every single erection, doesn't matter if it's during sex or one that just happens while you're sleeping, it's serving a vital biological purpose. It's pumping that spongy tissue full of fresh, oxygen-rich blood. This literally nourishes the tissue, helps fight off that fibrosis we talked about, and maintains that critical elasticity. Not having regular activity can actually speed up the aging process.
So you're probably wondering, okay, aside from regular sexual activity, is there like an actual workout I can do? And the answer is a huge yes, and it targets the exact muscles that support the whole operation.
First things first, you have to find the right muscle. We're talking about your pelvic floor muscles, and there's a super simple way to do this. The next time you're using the bathroom, just try to stop the flow of urine midstream. That squeeze you feel, that internal lift, that is the exact muscle we're talking about. Now, don't make a habit of doing that all the time. This is just to find the muscle.
Okay, so the workout itself, it's incredibly easy. Just lie down somewhere comfortable, take a nice breath in, and then squeeze that muscle you just found.
Hold that contraction for, say, 3 to 5 seconds. Then, as you breathe out, let it go completely. Just relax everything. That's it. That's 1 rep. You can start with maybe 20 of those and just build up from there.
Now, to stay consistent, here's a really easy way to remember the plan. It's called the rule of 3. You're going to aim for 3 of those sessions a day, do them about 3 times a week, and then really stick with it for at least 3 months. That's when you'll start to notice a real difference. It's all about consistency, building that muscle, and improving its conditioning.
All right, let's move on to our third and final pillar. This is the chemical engine that drives so much of a man's vitality. We're talking about hormones. Take a look at this number. After the age of 40, most men are going to see a natural dip in their testosterone levels of about 1 to 2% every single year. Now, this isn't some kind of disease, it's just a normal part of aging. But things like a poor diet or not enough exercise can definitely speed this up.
And this chart really puts that into perspective. You can see that a man at age 70 could easily have about half the testosterone he had when he was 30. And that's not just a number on a page. It has real-world, physical effects.
So here's where it all connects. Why does this hormonal decline matter so much? Because lower testosterone levels can actually accelerate that process of fibrosis we talked about earlier, that hardening of the tissue. It also directly impacts your libido, or sex drive. So keeping your hormone levels in a healthy range is absolutely essential for preserving the physical structure and function of the penis.
Okay, so we've covered the biology, we've gone through the 3 pillars. Now let's put it all together into one simple, cohesive action plan that you can literally start using today.
Here it is, your mind map, your blueprint for vitality. It starts with protecting your heart and your blood vessels, because what's good for the heart is good for the penis. You're going to fuel that system by eating real food. Just remember, peel more, unpack less. Then keep the organ active and nourished with regular use, and strengthen its foundation with those pelvic floor exercises. And finally, be smart about it. Talk to your doctor and keep an eye on your hormone levels as you get older.
When it's all said and done, it really comes down to this. We can't stop the clock from ticking. That's inevitable. But we have a tremendous amount of power to influence how we experience that time. Taking care of your health, staying active, listening to your body. It's not just about adding more years to your life. It's about adding more life to your years. The choice is yours.